Howdy, this is Josh, and let me show you a little bit about the Extendly theme customizer. You're probably one of two people. You either already have an Extendly account or you do not. If you already have it, you are just interested in learning how to use the theme customizer. And then if you're on the fence and you don't have the Support OS side, which gives you the access to all these different apps, then I can show you what capabilities you will have with this account. So you are already inside of and experiencing some of the changes that allows you to do. You can see on the left-hand side and across the top tool navigation bar that some things are a little bit different than your standard high-level account, and that is all due to the use of the theme customizer. I've been using it a little bit before during the beta release, and now it is live and you have access to it with your account. So let's dive in and I'll show you actually how to use it. So you can find the theme customizer. Right now I'm on the apps section, but you can click on just theme customizer right here at the top. So I'm going to do that. Whenever you open up the theme customizer, you're going to be presented with this connections page, which gives you the ability to copy and paste the CSS code into your system. Of course, I'm not going to show you all of mine because of the API codes, but you can go and click here, the copy button, and you can go and copy this and paste it into your settings, company, and then the custom CSS. So let's do that right now. I'm going to click on copy, take you back into my high-level account and actually show you where to add this code. So once you're in your account and you've copied the code, you'll go down here to the settings section, click on settings, and then you will go into the company settings just underneath the My Profile, and you go down to custom CSS, click into this box, and then paste your CSS from the Extendly theme customizer. Once that is there, scroll down to the base of this page and click on or update company settings, and congratulations, that'll be live inside your account. Okay, so the meat of this customizer is actually the dashboard and login themes. So dashboard themes, this is the overview that most of your users, sub-account users, and you personally are going to interact with. There's a couple of different standard themes that they've already given you, in which once you have that code pasted into your agency account, then you can go in here and click on activate, and it'll actually activate that theme directly into your account. I have one that is already active, but of course you can go and click into each one of these and just activate them. But let me take you into the customize section of this editor. When you click on the customize button, once you've selected an active theme, it'll take you directly to the login page. Of course, there will be an additional step where you have to put in the specific URL of your page, and then once that is there and live, it'll have you log in to your account as if it is you as the user. So what it's going to do is going to give you a live preview of what it'll look like as you edit your details. So go ahead and sign into your account, because we are going to be looking at the dashboard editor, and then later on we'll look at the actual login page editor. Once you've logged into your account, you will then see an active view of your login and the details that you can edit visually of your account. Of course, this has been edited and changed, so it's not going to look like your standard high-level account. So let's look through this left navigation and the different options that you can then edit. The first section is the Manage Notifications section, and I'm sure that you've run across this. Inside of the account for high-level, of course, you have the ability to upsell Yext and WordPress, and then of course those notifications for the phone details. If you want to hide those details and those notifications, you can actually do so here, where you click through these two boxes, and that will turn off the notifications for your clients. Let's say you do not want to sell WordPress or Yext. The additional one is this phone. This phone notification is oftentimes whenever a phone needs to be set up, or a phone number needs to be set up in the account, or it's disconnected. You can actually turn off the phone notifications so that it no longer bugs your account users for them to set up a phone number inside of the account. And before I start going through any of these other steps, let's look at these buttons that are on the right-hand side and figure out exactly what they do. The first one is a drop-down in which you can scroll through and select the different themes and see what they look like inside the account. Right now I'm looked at the Claret theme, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then you have the next button, which is Save a Draft. When you save a draft, that means that the edits that you have made are going to save inside of the theme customizer, but they're not going to be published live inside of your account. That is the publish button. So as I make detailed changes, for example, if we're inside the font family and we go here to the headline font, maybe I want to change this to the Oswald instead. I'm not going to visually see this. I can go and save a draft and then visually see this change, or I can click on the publish button. As soon as that, it's going to give me a notification that says it's going to be published to all the agencies, sub-account level users, and they'll see the effect. I'm going to click on continue, and then it'll then refresh inside the account, and we will see that the fonts have actually changed inside of the account for the headline fonts, which are inside the dashboard and various other locations. The other button that's here is the refresh button, where you can refresh this page and see if you need to update anything. It'll just do like a hard refresh, as if you're clicking on refresh, and update the tab inside your Chrome or your Safari or your other browsers. Okay, back over here to the left-hand navigation. Next is the body fonts, which are going to be the text just below, so such as in the dashboard, the no data found. The headlines are going to be such as the opportunity value details. So the next thing will go into the logo details. This logo is this upper left-hand side logo. So if I go and change this width and I want to adjust the width and the height, I can then go and click on the publish button or save on draft first, and that'll update it inside the viewer but not actually publish it. And that'll change the logo sizes. Next is going to be the brand colors. Of course, I've made some drastic changes to this account, and you can go in here and adjust it to your brand identity. So let's go here and adjust the primary color and see what options you get. If I click on the primary color, it's going to give you a slider that gives you, let's say, the opacity of that color or the various different colors that you can choose. So I'm going to go and change this. I'm going to select this hex code so that I can go and readjust it after I make my changes. But let's say I wanted to make this entirely blue. I can then save the blue, and after I've selected this blue color as the primary color, I will then go and click on the saved draft button. So once we save that, it's going to give you a notification of the changes that are going to occur and that it's not going to be viewed on the sub-account level, and we'll hit continue, and then it'll go through and actually refresh this page, and so we'll see these colors take place immediately. However, this is not necessarily live in the account yet. As we saw that notification, this is just a draft. If we wanted it to go live for all of our sub-accounts to actually view this in details, we'll go and click the publish button. We can then scroll through and visually change and make sure that everything looks good the way that we want it to. I highly recommend making sure that you look at every single tab, every single sub-tab from the navigation as well as settings, because you're making overall changes to your account, and there's a reason for the colors and there's a reason for the profiles there, and you want it to be very easy for people to visualize stuff, and you don't want it to overlap and match colors. So I'm going to make a change back to the original and we'll continue from there. So once I've selected this red, I'll go and put the red hex code back in, and I'll click on the save draft again. But of course, there's only a live account right now. I haven't actually made any adjustments where my sub-account user will see that. You can then go and see all the different colors that you can change, and you can pretty much change all the colors in your account. It is a little bit interesting to figure out what specific naming schema GoHighLevel has used. So just make sure, as I said before, that you go and look through every step and every tool in your account, that you're not messing with the actual user or your UI too much. You then have a main color that you can go and adjust, and the main color is going to change. It's going to change some of the detail color behind the navigation side. You can then go and change the icon font size and the width of the different text across the top, as well as the hover colors of the text on the top navigation in this header section. You also have the ability to do some advanced backgrounds. Will give you gradients that you can add to the text and to the headers across the top of your navigation panel. I'm going to go and again change this back to the standard red, and then go and click on the save draft, and that is then going to re-update the visual editor but not actual publishing to the sub accounts or to the main account. From the header, we'll then go to the menu and order visibility. So this is one of my favorites, and definitely one that a lot of people can use. For example, Launchpad is something that a lot of people don't necessarily want their users to see or visualize, especially if you're using the Extendly group and the onboarding. There's so many more details in this little pop-up and this help bubble that'll kind of make the launch pad not useful. So I've actually hidden it, but if I were to visually unhide it again and then click on Save Draft, that launch pad will then pop up here on the left-hand side of the account, and then people and all my account users can then go and see the launch pad again. If I want to hide, let's say I do not give my clients abilities to use payments or opportunities, then I can go and hide those here. Inside of these actual navigations, you can actually hide smart list or bulk actions or tasks, all of these kind of sub headlines across the top, if you do not offer them or you do not service them to your clients. So let me hide the Launchpad again. And for example, if I'm inside of contacts and I hide the smart list and the task section, and I go and click on the Save Draft and continue once again, then when we go inside the contacts section, of course, Launchpad just disappeared. Go inside of contacts, the ability to see the smart list is going to go away. However, because GoHighLevel pushes the user into the smart list first, they are still going to have access to the smart list as long as they don't click out of it. So as soon as I click on the bulk actions, I'm not going to be able to see those individual smart lists anymore. So just make sure that there's some things that you can hide, some things that you can hide, but you shouldn't, because it's going to defeat the purpose and the usability of the account. So just make sure that you have a good plan in place. Menus and orders, you can also, the last thing is add a custom menu across the bottom side here. So if you click on add a custom menu, you can do a menu name and a menu ID for others to kind of customize. It's just like GoHighLevel's custom menu links. However, I would highly recommend using that instead because that allows you to customize some of the visuals as well as the icons, which you can do here, but it gives you a lot more customization than you can inside of the Extendly version, but that is here if you need it. You can then rename the actual menu details. So for example, if I don't want this to be a dashboard and I just want it to be dash cool, sweet. Dash cool is now renamed, and I'll go and click on the Save Draft and continue that, and that'll then update the dash to dash cool. Just note that there are other locations that may reference the dash. If you are looking at help docs, the help docs may reference the dash as well. So make sure that you still use naming schema that is recognizable and easy for people to kind of navigate if you make a lot of changes. You can then go to the sidebar and of course change the background color of the sidebar, the active colors of the different text, background hover colors if you want those to show up. So for example, if I change this to a blue background hover color, if I can say that correctly, then if I go and update that, of course, save as a draft once again, then hovering over all this text, those are going to populate and give you a little bit more of a visual when you're looking at those icons. Of course, you have advanced borders that you can go and design, add gradients to, and change the font size. The top navigation, again, this gives you the ability to edit some of this text in more detail than we previously saw. And of course, another useful feature is this customizable icons. So for example, for this dashboard, I can click into the dashboard, change this up, and maybe I just want this to be an apple instead. So let's see if there's an apple. I'll change that dashboard, save changes, and that dashboard will then be updated once we hit Save Draft to an apple instead of the regular standard dashboard icon. And last but not least, you have a card section, which specifically gives you the ability to edit some of the cards on your dashboard, which is pretty awesome. So for example, if this text is kind of running outside of the editable area or the visual area, I'm going to change this down and make this, let's say, a font size 15, and the title color is going to then change to a red of some kind of a deeper red. And once we make those adjustments and I go and save that as a draft, that will change the dashboard actual icon card colors and sizes and details there. And of course, you can do the background colors, you can do advanced borders, and you can change things such as the shadow around the cards as well, and add shadows, make that a little bit more visually appealing. So those are the details for the actual dashboard editor inside the account. And so we'll jump over to the login screen next. So back inside of the main screen for the Extendly editor, this is the ability to edit your login screen. Of course, you can have a bunch of different themes. You can choose one of them to actually start with, or you can start with the default and edit from there. I have chosen theme number 6, and then I'll go and click on the Customize button. And if you go and log in and you meet this screen, just go and click on the refresh button, because you've already been logged into the account and it'll try to actually show up to the login screen and not your actual dashboard. So click on refresh and it'll just reset the login and it'll take you to the sign in screen. So once you're inside the sign in screen, this is going to look just a little bit differently. It's a little bit harder to actually see the save drafts section. So you're going to actually have to, you just have the ability to do the published as well as the refresh button. So you'll have to make your adjustments over here and then click on the publish button, and you actually have to see the changes live. So what can you edit? You can go and change, of course, the company logo, and you'll go and add that company logo here, change the background image. Of course, in my settings right now, you see a background image in the uploader, but you don't see it visually because I have some card colors and graphics that are actually overlaying over that image, so you're not going to see that background image. You then have the ability to resize that logo, and of course, once you make your changes, go and click on the publish button, and those changes will then populate on the screen. You have the ability to change the login headline font as well as the login body font, which would be the sign in the account, and then of course the email and password details. Then you have the login card itself, which would be this left-hand side where you can change the width of it. The background color I, of course, have set to white, and you can change the background color, make advanced border changes, and of course add a shadow as well. Then you have the headline font, which is going to be the sign-in instead. I was incorrect with the font family. The font family is actually going to be this login headline font, which is the email and password, and then the login body font, which would be this text details inside of the login details. The headline then is going to be the sign in to your account, and you can change the text color and the font size. Going further down, the login input is going to be this email as well as the just smaller text that I have inside of these login details, which is the height, the label font size, the font input sizes as well, and then the label colors and the background colors and alert colors as well. You can then change the background advanced borders, and I have gone through and actually changed the radius to be a little bit more rounded off, to be a little bit more gentler on the eyes. Of course, this is going to be in the eyes of the beholder, and you can make your changes to the login screen there. You then have the login button, which is going to be the sign-in screen. I have a little hover effect, which the advanced background, if I clicked on here, I've actually changed and made a gradient added. And of course, you can click on this color, add additional colors if you want to by clicking a plus, and that'll give additional kind of radius or gradient colors in the radius as well. And then on the hover side, I have kind of a slight red hover, and you can change those details there. The login footer, of course, is by signing in, you agree to the terms and conditions. You can change that font size and the text color, and then other text can be added to this screen and change the color. And then, of course, the link for the terms and conditions and the forgot password, those are going to change those details here. As you make your edits, you can then go and click on the publish, but just know that as you hit publish, those are going to go live immediately. So make your changes and then make sure that you publish them, and those are visually going to be exactly what people see in their account when they go and actually log in. The last section is the settings button, and inside of there you can add your white label domain, which it'll prompt you when you first set up the theme customizer, as well as your email and your login details, and so you can go into the settings and add those. But hopefully this gives you a good overview of what the theme customizer is capable of inside of your HighLevel account to give and customize your user experience to be, of course, as HighLevel has branded it, and you want it to be white label to your brand, to your style, to your theme, to your colors, to match exactly the aura that you want to put forth. So I appreciate your time, and I'm going to leave the link to sign up with Extendly. You'll need the Support OS package, one of the different packages, in order to actually use the theme customizer. Also, if you don't have access to HighLevel, I'll give you an affiliate link down below in the description that you can sign up through HighLevel if you do not have an account. But I appreciate your time, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll make sure to give you everything that you need. And of course, signing up as an affiliate under me for the high level side, I have several different packages and a private affiliate group that'll give you all the details to get started to sell your SaaS. I have a SaaS funnel page, website page, and custom CSS that you can use inside of your account to customize the different login details, the logos. So I will give all those to you, and of course there's access to me to ask direct questions for your high level account, and I'll answer them as quick as possible.